A deadly house fire in Pennsylvania leaves a family mourning and a community in shock. 10 members of one family dead, 7 adults and 3 children. A firefighter called to the scene talks about knowing his own relatives were trapped inside the house. He was unable to save anyone from the blaze. U.S. jobs soared in July. The report out today far exceeds expectations. All the jobs lost during the pandemic have returned, according to the numbers. Plus, an update on the president's legislation aimed at curbing inflation from ABC's Mary Bruce at the White House. And we're talking with an economist to make sense of it all. Jobs are up, so are wages. But does that mean a better economic outlook for those struggling to pay the bills amid record inflation? The new concern tonight for children and monkeypox after a daycare worker tests positive. And in Ukraine, tense moments at a nuclear power station in the battle zone. Shelling hit a high-voltage power line, prompting operators at Europe's biggest power station to disconnect the reactor. Ukraine's state power company blames Russia for the damage. We have more on that. Plus, ABC's Patrick Reevell reports on life inside Russian-captured territory in southern Ukraine. Residents facing arrest and some say torture for refusing to submit to Russian rule long after the region fell. And now the push to help Ukraine reclaim the area.
I know that people are taken away from homes and hidden somewhere.
People are being disappeared.
Yeah. Some people I know, they have their relatives taken away.
And that captivating rescue of 13 Thai boys stuck inside a cave is hitting the big screen. ABC's Matt Gutman covered every moment of that gripping story 4 years ago. Now he talks with film director Ron Howard about how he brought the tale to Hollywood.
A story like this where people put a lot of that aside and get something remarkable done. What they gave us was an object lesson in what is humanly possible.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Kana Whitworth in for Lindsay Davis here in Los Angeles, and thank you so much for streaming with us. And we are tracking several breaking stories as we come on the air here tonight. First of all, a deadly fire that has left at least 10 family members dead in Pennsylvania. We will have more on the criminal investigation now underway, but also tonight, major news about the U.S. economy and an explosion at a nuclear power plant overseas in Ukraine. But first tonight, the major fine brought against conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Late today, a Texas jury decided Jones must pay the parents of a child killed in the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting more than $45 million. This comes on top of another multi-million-dollar penalty in just the last 24 hours. In emotional closing arguments today, the attorney for the parents said, quote, "We ask that you send a very, very simple message, and that is stop Alex Jones, stop the monetization of misinformation and lies, please." And on this busy Friday night, Ariel Reshef leads us off.
Members of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
Tonight, a Texas jury punishing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones for his lies, ordering him to pay $45.2 million to the family of 6-year-old Jesse Lewis, one of the 20 first graders and 6 staff gunned down at Sandy Hook Elementary. The staggering sum, on top of $4 million in compensatory damages, marks the first time the firebrand host has been found financially responsible for spreading false claims about the country's deadliest school shooting. For years, Jones told followers Sandy Hook was a hoax staged by the government to crack down on guns, even calling the victims' parents crisis actors.
I don't think you will understand unless there's some form of punishment.
The parents of Jesse Lewis testifying on the devastating toll of Jones's lies, years of harassment, violence, and death threats they've had to endure.
Jesse died here.
Jones finally admitting on the stand what the world knew years ago about the massacre.
It was, especially since I've met the parents, and it's 100% real.
Jones's company has filed for bankruptcy, and he claims he's lost nearly everything after being banned from platforms like Facebook and YouTube. The judge even admonishing him from the bench.
You may not tell this jury that you are bankrupt. That is also not true.
Today, an expert for the family testifying he's worth up to $270 million and has withdrawn tens of millions of dollars since he was found liable of defamation in Sandy Hook cases.
He lied to make his money. and he's lying to keep his money.
And Ariel Reshef joining us now. So, Ariel, this is still not the only legal challenge that Alex Jones is facing. What's next on that front?
That's right, Kana. There's an uphill legal battle for Jones. He's also facing a lawsuit filed in Connecticut by several other Sandy Hook families and an FBI agent. He's already been found liable in that case and faces millions more in damages. The next hearing in that case is next week. Kana?
All right, far from over. Ariel, thank you. We turn now to a tragic scene in northern Pennsylvania where authorities say 10 people, all believed to be family members, have been killed in a fast-moving house fire. The victims here ranging in age from 5 to 79 years old. And we also learned today that those who lost their lives were related to a volunteer firefighter who arrived at the deadly scene. ABC's Mola Lenghi has the latest.
Tonight, unspeakable tragedy for one Pennsylvania family after a devastating fire ripped through this home early this morning. According to state police, 7 adults and 3 children confirmed dead. The victims ranging in age from 5 to 79. Crews called to the single-family home around 2:30 a.m.
Residential structure fire, multiple people entrapped.
Firefighters tried going in but were pushed back by the fierce flames and intense heat.
When we pulled up, the whole place was fully involved. We tried to get into them. There wasn't no way we could get into them.
Volunteer firefighter Harold Baker, one of the first on scene, is related to all 14 people he says were staying in the house overnight.
I also lost my son, my daughter, my grandson, 2 other grandkids that it's in there, my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, all lost, and my sister-in-law. All lost.
According to Baker, many of his relatives were in town visiting family. 13 pets also believed to be inside when the fire broke out.
That I couldn't get in there to save them. That's my biggest thing that's been on me. I couldn't get in there to save them.
Just unbelievable there. Mola Lenghi joining us now. So, Mola, what is the next investigative step here?
Okay, and of course, authorities will try to determine the cause of the fire. They say that this is currently a criminal investigation, and state police are now interviewing the survivors. Kana?
Wow, long search for answers. Mola, our thanks to you. Now to the major news about the U.S. economy, jobs and inflation, as President Biden could actually be on the verge of a massive legislative victory for his economic and climate agenda. New Labor Department numbers are out today showing a massive surge in jobs in July, 528,000 to be exact. That's double what was expected. So President Biden, who is still recovering from COVID, praised this report, saying there are more people working in America than at any point in American history. Senior White House correspondent Mary Bruce has those details.
Tonight, a massive and surprising surge in hiring. The blockbuster jobs report smashing expectations, suggesting the economy may dodge a recession. The economy adding 528,000 jobs in July, doubling what Wall Street expected. The U.S. has now regained all of the jobs lost during the pandemic.
It would be very unusual to have a recession where we're adding hundreds of thousands of jobs on a monthly basis.
While the report shows a robust labor market, inflation is still at a 40-year high, despite moves by the Federal Reserve putting added pressure on what it will do next. In D.C., Rahama Wright, who owns a small beauty product business, struggled during the pandemic. Now she's finally hiring again.
Since COVID happened, July was actually the first time I could bring on a full-time person.
At the White House, President Biden today taking a victory lap.
Today, there are more people working in America than before the pandemic began. In fact, there are more people working in America than any point in American history.
The president also celebrating more good news for his administration as Democrats tonight appear to have the votes to pass a key part of his agenda, his climate, health, and tax plan. Overnight, a major breakthrough. Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema, the last Democratic holdout, announcing she's ready to move forward after party leaders agreed to scale back some of their tax proposals. The bill would be the largest investment in fighting climate change in U.S. history, would help lower health care premiums and prescription drug costs, and would pay for it by raising taxes on big corporations and the wealthiest Americans. The president says the bill will bring down inflation and save Americans money. But Republicans dispute that.
This is a big tax increase on job creators in this country that isn't going to do anything to address the inflation crisis in this country.
And Mary Bruce is joining us now from the White House. So, Mary, this bill is still far from a done deal. What is the schedule ahead for Democrats trying to push this forward?
Well, the Senate is staying in town through the weekend. They're expected to start voting on this tomorrow. And while Republicans are vowing to drag this out as long as possible, Democrats tonight are confident they will have the votes to get this done. And here at the White House, the president is eager to sign this. With the midterms now just 95 days away, the president is hoping that Americans will start to actually feel the economic impacts of this legislation before they head to the polls. Kana.
All right, Mary Bruce, our thanks to you.
Thank you.
And for more on the state of the economy, I'm joined now by Diane Swonk, Chief Economist at KPMG. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So 528,000 jobs added in July. That's double what most economists expected. We've seen steady job growth in recent months. But was that number a surprise to you? And what does that tell you in a larger sense about the economy?
It certainly was a surprise, and that's great news if we can believe it. The household survey, which actually calls people up, has been much more stagnant over the last 4 months, and actually we're down from a peak earlier in the year. So that number is not quite as good, and so it tells us maybe this number might not be as good as it seems on first glance. That said, the 3.5% unemployment rate is also from the household survey. It fell in part because fewer people participated in the labor force, and that is somewhat worrisome. We should be seeing, with such a red-hot job market, for people to be putting their hat more in the ring rather than pulling out of the labor force. In the last 2 months, that's what we've seen instead.
Right, so maybe temper everybody's excitement here on this a little bit. We, of course, keep hearing also about a recession. It's constantly tossed around as growth has slowed. Inflation continues to hit Americans. Will inflation concerns continue now, even with this job growth?
That's exactly the problem, is that the high rate of churn, staffing shortages we see, long COVID, people out because of COVID, all of that is adding to costs, even though wages aren't keeping up with inflation. They're strong, but they're not keeping up with inflation, which makes a lot of people feel like we're in a recession. At the end of the day, this ups the ante on the Fed to keep going on rate hikes. And sadly, they think we need to see an increase in the unemployment rate in order to cool inflation enough to make it not metastasize and become a more chronic condition. That's an easy thing to talk about. It's a much harder thing to live through and have to actually act on.
Right, and so the Fed dealing with that tricky balance there of trying to slow down inflation without putting the brakes on growth and jobs. We've already seen some slowdown in the housing market as interest rates rise. What other sectors could see these job losses first if the economy slows or continues to slow?
Well, we think that we're not going to see a turn negative in employment until we get late in the year in early 2023, and then we think the unemployment rate's going to go up. That said, we've already started to see some of the warning signs out there. You know, large retailers announcing layoffs, some automakers announcing layoffs as they pivot more into electric vehicles. We've seen, many of the industries that did so well during the pandemic are now having to pull in a bit. Now, the good news is places that are really short-staffed, even as their business is cooled, like restaurants, we've seen actual contraction after adjusting for inflation, but they're still hiring up because they don't have enough staff to meet the demand they have. So, there is some opportunity there for some small businesses that are, really understaffed. That said, those businesses are taking it on the chin the most from the escalating costs that they're facing out there.
And escalating costs, like even in wage growth. I mean, what does that look like here? We did see growth in wages in July, but it really wasn't enough to keep up with the pace of inflation. So was there anything else in this jobs report that you think could also be an area of concern that might be overlooked right now?
Well, I think the most important issue is that, since the onset of the reopening and the recovery from the pandemic, we saw wages skyrocket. And there was a moment that we all got to sort of step in the sun and feel the warmth of actually glowing wages. And now we're getting burned by inflation. We've not only lost everything that we've gained in wages on average, but then some. And that's why most people are so upset, and you're seeing consumer attitudes really at these rock bottom lows because they really do feel like they're losing ground, even though they still have a job. Even defaults in low-income households have begun to pick up without an increase in unemployment. Another sign of stress in the labor market, we're back up to the highest levels of multiple job holders that we've had since February 2020. I see that as a defeat, not a strength in the job market, because it's a sign that people are stressed so much they have to now go back to multiple jobs just to make ends meet and cover their expenses from week to week.
Economist Diane Swonk, your perspective is incredibly important. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you.
And next tonight, to the monkeypox outbreak spreading across the U.S. An adult connected to a daycare facility in Illinois testing positive for the virus. So health officials are now screening a number of children they say may have been exposed. ABC's Faith Abube reports from the CDC.
Just one day after the federal government declared monkeypox a public health emergency, health officials in Illinois say an adult at a daycare has tested positive with the virus, and a number of children may have been exposed.
Pediatricians are on site as we speak to screen children for cases, and there are mobile testing and vaccines for their families.
So far, just 5 children have developed monkeypox across the country. The vaccine for monkeypox can be given after exposure to the virus to prevent disease or lessen symptoms, but it is only given to children on a case-by-case basis. Illinois officials say they've been given special permission by the FDA to use the vaccine on anyone under the age of 18. It comes as the number of cases in the U.S. climbs to 7,500 across 48 states.
I want everyone to realize that we're all at risk of this virus.
The virus is primarily spread through close skin-to-skin contact, but can also be transmitted through prolonged face-to-face contact or touching clothing or bedding contaminated with the infected sore. Dr. Ashish Jha says he's not concerned about the virus spreading on surfaces.
We're monitoring that very closely. Have not seen any cases through playgrounds, have not seen any cases through public transportation, but I'm not worried about those as major mechanisms or even minor mechanisms of spread.
And Kana, the CDC tonight out with a new study breaking down who in the U.S. has been infected with the virus. 99% of the monkeypox cases here in the U.S. has been among men, and an overwhelming majority have had sexual contact with other men. But the CDC tonight stressing that anyone can be infected with the virus as long as they've had close physical contact with an infected person. Kana?
Okay, Faith, our thanks to you. And now to the severe thunderstorms and extreme heat. Also, new details about a deadly lightning strike near the White House. 3 people killed, including a husband and wife. 1 more in critical condition. And now we have more on these storms that are on the way, coupled with these potential record-breaking temperatures for millions of people. Trevor Ault reports.
Tonight, dangerous temperatures from the Midwest to the Northeast. Heat-fueled severe thunderstorms sparking deadly lightning Thursday. This strike across the street from the White House killing 3, including James and Donna Mueller, a couple visiting from Wisconsin. 1 other person is in critical condition. Authorities discovering the victims near a tree.
Anybody who goes to seek shelter under a tree, that's a very dangerous place to be.
A waterspout from that same system coming ashore in Maryland, damaging homes on Smith Island. The weather also snarling air travel. More than 2,600 flights canceled since Thursday. And tonight, 77 million Americans now under heat alerts. At NYU Langone Medical Center in Brooklyn, Dr. Fidel Garcia says they're bracing for a surge in heat-related ER visits.
This is a season where we're seeing, not only the heat wave, but also people being outside, people being ill-prepared for this type of ailment.
Summertime, high heat, unprepared. Perfect storm, basically.
Perfect storm, correct, yeah.
And temperatures are unrelenting through the weekend.
And Trevor joining us now. So, Trevor, what should people really know when it comes to protecting themselves against the threat of lightning?
Right, Kana. So the obvious answer is you want to try to get indoors. That is option 1, 2, and 3. But if you can't do that, you want to avoid hiding under tall structures like trees because lightning does tend to strike the tallest object. At the same time, you don't want to stay out in the open. That's dangerous too. So if you don't see any other options, it's best to avoid the elevated areas and stay low, but do not lay all the way down on the ground. Kana.
All right, a lot to remember. Good advice there, though, Trevor. Our thanks to you. Let's get right to ABC News. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano back in Rhode Island for us tonight, tracking that extreme heat and storms. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Kate, yeah, the thunderstorms are firing across parts of southeastern Kentucky, unfortunately, in that flood zone. And the flood watches, they've been extended into D.C. tonight. You see here on the radar scope, and obviously the heat is kind of exacerbating some of this rainfall. And the situation where that front is acting as a convergence zone, that pattern is not really changing. So even though these flood watches, a lot of them will expire tomorrow morning, the threat for rain is going to continue through the weekend, unfortunately. We've also extended the heat advisories here in the Northeast, the I-95 corridor, these big cities, Philadelphia, New York, in through Boston, Hartford, and all through Albany. We'll feel like temperatures approaching 100 degrees again tomorrow, getting slightly cooler on Sunday. And then a huge chunk of the plain, Central America here, of course, northern Texas into it as well. And up the I-35 corridor, temperatures are going to feel like 108 degrees in Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska. Excessive heat warnings there. This heat, this long-term heat we've seen for a couple of months now, that's just making the drought worse. It's certainly in the west and in the southern plains, but also here in the east. Severe drought is expanding here in eastern New England. Boston just up the road getting less than 3 inches of rainfall so far this summer. That's in contrast to last year where they had an excessively wet summer with over a foot of rain, but it only takes one season, Kana, to go right back into drought, and that's what we're experiencing right now. Kana?
All right. Rob, thank you.
You bet.
And now to Brittney Griner and possible hopeful signs for her release. Just 24 hours after the conviction and sentencing of the WNBA star, Russia is now signaling that it is ready to discuss a possible prisoner exchange with the U.S. Here's ABC's Maggie Rulli.
Tonight, as Brittney Griner's lawyers work to appeal that 9-year sentence, Russia's foreign minister saying they're ready to talk about a prisoner exchange. Sergei Lavrov telling reporters, we're ready to discuss this topic, but within the framework that was agreed upon by Presidents Putin and Biden. And again, cautioning the U.S. about going public with those negotiations, saying if the Americans decide to resort to public diplomacy and make loud statements, this is their business, and even, I would say, their problem. Although the White House says talks are continuing, there's been no communication between Lavrov and Secretary of State Antony Blinken since a phone call last week. The two today sitting just feet from each other during an East Asia summit. The diplomats instead delivering dueling statements.
We put forward a substantial proposal that Russia should engage with us on. And what Foreign Minister Lavrov said this morning and said publicly is that they are prepared to engage through channels we've established to do just that.
Sources telling ABC News that substantial proposal is to swap Griner and former Marine Paul Whelan for notorious Russian arms dealer Victor Bout. President Biden today also weighing in.
I'm hopeful. We're working hard.
A Russian judge on Thursday saying Griner had criminal intent when vape cartridges containing cannabis oil were found in her luggage in February. As she exited the courtroom, the 31-year-old Olympian sharing this message.
I love my family.
And Maggie Rulli joining us now. So Maggie, as we watch to see what happens next in this case, where actually is Griner now?
Yeah, well, Kana, right now, Brittney Griner remains in that detention center tonight as she awaits her appeal. But her lawyers are saying it could take months for it to make its way through the Russian court system. But Kana, if that prisoner swap comes through, the appeal could be dropped. Kana?
Okay, Maggie, thank you. And when we come back tonight, the race against time to rescue 10 miners trapped in Mexico since Wednesday. Also, it has now been 4 years since the world was captivated by the rescue mission to save the Thai soccer players trapped in that cave. The sneak peek at the new movie documenting that heroic effort. But first, what is life like in occupied Ukraine? The harrowing tales coming in from a region now being cut off from the rest of their country and the world. We'll be right back.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any place else. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast, now streaming on ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Admit it, these days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
The hottest views in daytime are happening right here.
We talk about things on this show that people don't talk about. That I can't wait to see.
Honest takes from strong women.
We need all hands on deck, and we need it right now.
This is the time to speak out. Unafraid to get real.
We stick by our points of view.
We're all seeing it differently, and that's the beauty of The View.
And that's why the most watched #1 daytime talk show is The View. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
America is being poisoned with fentanyl, and we don't even know it.
Just heard my wife screaming. She told me they had just died.
50 to 100 times more potent than morphine.
Keep breathing, come on. It's poison, it's pure poison.
A few grains of salt worth of fentanyl will kill you.
Just my agency has seized enough to kill the entire country.
ABC News Live presents Poisoned, America's Fentanyl Crisis. The powerful series, streaming free on ABC News Live. Take America's #1 news with you, anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7. There for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now. America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you, anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
And welcome back, everybody. The race is on to save 10 miners trapped in a flooded tunnel in northern Mexico. Authorities are now working around the clock trying to pump out the water. There were 15 miners inside when this accident happened 2 days ago. Rescuers were able to save 5 of them. This is now the 3rd mining accident in that region since 2016. And now to the war in Ukraine and reports of shelling near the largest nuclear power plant in all of Europe. Ukrainian officials say that a high-voltage power line was hit. They are blaming Russia, which has had control of the plant now for months. ABC's senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Ukraine with the latest. Hey, Ian.
Yeah, Kana, more shelling at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Russia and Ukraine accusing each other of hitting the site. Russia's defense ministry releasing videos showing smoke rising from the fire. They're claiming it was caused by the shelling. Apparently one power supply is out of action but isolated, but Ukrainian authorities saying 2 buildings were also hit with the risk of fire, water leakage, and what they're calling sputtering of radioactive substances. Remember, the UN this week warning Europe's largest nuclear power plant is, quote, completely out of control. And the Ukrainians tonight saying the possible consequences of hitting this site are equivalent to the use of an atomic bomb. Kana?
Wow. All right, Ian, thank you. And turning now to the raging battle in Ukraine's south, where Ukrainian forces are fighting to take back parts of the Kherson region. This is an area that Russians took control of early on in the war. It's been bloody and destructive, and in the midst of trying to liberate the region from Russian occupation, ordinary citizens are caught in the crossfire here. ABC's Patrick Revel is in Ukraine, where he spoke to some of these internally displaced refugees.
3 weeks after Russian forces entered Dmitry Vasilyev's town, they came for him. Dmitry was head of the city council in Novakhovka in Ukraine's south, and the new Russian occupation authorities wanted him to work with them.
They handcuffed me and brought me to the police building where they made a prison.
It was one small room.
Dmitry was held captive for 45 days, during which he says he listened to other prisoners being beaten.
They made a torture chamber in the room above me. They handcuffed people to the radiators there. You could hear it, and the screams, too.
Dmitry says he wasn't tortured, but he was pressured to collaborate and join the new regime.
Why did you refuse to cooperate?
I gave an oath. You don't betray your oath. I have convictions that Ukraine is on the right side, and I must support the right side. It's about good and evil. Ukraine is definitely on the side of good.
For over 5 months, people in southern Ukraine have lived under Russian occupation. Russian forces seized most of the Kherson region within days. In the beginning, people there resisted, protesting, confronting Russian troops, waving Ukrainian flags. But Russia clamped down.
I know that people are taken away from homes and hidden somewhere.
People are being disappeared?
Yeah. Some people I know, they have their relatives taken away.
Russia sealed Kherson off, blocking Ukrainian TV channels and cutting phone connections. It replaced the currency with rubles. In schools, the Russian curriculum is being introduced.
The situation in the city is getting worse by the day. The shortages are growing constantly with medicine, cash, the internet.
Tens of thousands of people fled as conditions worsened. Nastya Borisova and her family decided to finally escape last month, sitting in days-long traffic jams to exit through Russian checkpoints.
The road itself was very difficult. We waited for 10 hours in a traffic jam.
Fearful of being separated at the checkpoints, she wrote a contact number on her daughter's back. They are now safe in Odessa, living without the daily tension of occupation. But they're still living with the trauma of war. 3-year-old Milana here still asking her mum where the tanks are. Meanwhile, in the country's south, the war is moving closer to their home. Ukraine mounting a counter-offensive to try to retake its territory, slowly advancing now in parts of Kherson, hitting the Russians with US-supplied long-range artillery, taking out key bridges to prevent them from resupplying. The Ukrainians are also targeting ammunition depots, like this one in Novakhovka. This explosion went off near Nastya's home.
In my building, all the windows were broken, all the hinges were blown off the doors. If we had been at home at that moment, I would have been scratched, covered in shrapnel.
US officials say Russia is planning to permanently annex the occupied regions. Ukraine's counteroffensive now racing to try to disrupt that. Former residents know their homes will be in the line of fire, but many are still ready to sacrifice them if it means one day being able to live in a free Ukraine.
Well, I want to live in Ukraine. If my house is destroyed, it's material things. I'll get money. I'll build a new home, but I'll live in a free country where I can feel myself safe.
Wow, that was just stunning reporting there by Patrick Reevell. Our thanks to you. And still ahead here on Prime. Former NFL star Terrell Owens is speaking out after he filmed a heated confrontation with a neighbor. And the miraculous rescue after a French sailor somehow survived being trapped in a capsized boat for 16 hours. And would you spend millions of dollars on a baseball card? We take a look at the booming industry by the numbers. But first, our tweet of the day. A new baby hippo has arrived at the Cincinnati Zoo. Now enjoying some quality time with its mom.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
America is being poisoned with fentanyl, and we don't even know it.
Just heard my wife screaming. She told me they had just died.
50 to 100 times more potent than morphine.
Keep breathing, come on. It's poison. It's pure poison. A few grains of salt worth of fentanyl will kill you.
Just my agency has seized enough to kill the entire country.
ABC News Live presents Poisoned, America's Fentanyl Crisis. The powerful series, streaming free on ABC News Live.
These days, with so much going on, it's hard to keep up.
While others are recapping yesterday's headlines,
we're bringing you the right now.
This is the busy border crossing. Steel barricades, another strike.
The right now look at the day ahead, how it affects you and your family.
Record high gas prices.
The threat of cyber warfare.
Is peace possible?
World News Now beginning at 2 a.m. Eastern, followed by America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
Streaming here on ABC News Live.
Take America's #1 news with you anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7. There for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Welcome back. So just how much will some people spend on a baseball card? The top dollar seems to be rising rapidly with a new record set this week, and it's likely to be eclipsed soon. That's crazy. Here's a look at these sports card sales by the numbers. $7.26 million. That is how much a 1909 T206 Honus Wagner card sold for yesterday, according to Collectibles Marketplace. That is the most expensive sports card on record. It actually blows away the previous record, a mere $6.6 million paid a year ago for another one of the extremely rare Honus Wagner cards. You have to keep in mind only about 50 to 60 of those copies even exist. But a 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card goes on auction in a few weeks. Starting bid there is $7.08 million, and it's expected to go for around $10 million bucks. Back in 2000, a $1 million baseball card made history as the most expensive card ever sold. Today, more than 20 sports cards have cracked the $1 million threshold. And now, I mean, where are we going here? A 1992 Mark Zuckerberg baseball card will join this craze. The future Facebook founder gave a Little League card to his camp counselor, and now 30 years later, he is auctioning it off along with a digital NFT version. In case you're wondering, there you see it. Zuckerberg's card claims that 920 was his batting average. The 8-year-old Zuckerberg also signed the card. So big money there for very special little cards, and enough to keep fans and collectors seeing gold behind each new find. My goodness. Well, we still have a lot to get to here on Prime. If you are planning summer travel, listen up. The warning tonight about ways you could get scammed before you even take to the skies. Also, 4 years after that amazing cave rescue in Thailand, it's now being brought to life on the big screen. And the rising TikTok star captivating millions with their runway dances. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
National parks are incredibly safe places, but crime will happen.
Hey,
My wife had fallen. She's in really critical condition.
At that time, I thought it was just a tragic accident.
There's still a lot of questions we need to ask.
There were small things that didn't totally add up.
This is 2 lives for Harold that have died now. I was shocked. Something's not right.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination with criminal trials? Figure out what's really out there.
She revealed she had murdered his family.
I know in my heart that he did this.
It's the time of suspicion.
The ending's really tough.
You don't know whether truth is going to be difficult to find unless you try to find it.
America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
We received another outstanding jobs report.
The economic recovery getting a boost from the latest jobs report. There were 528,000 jobs added in July, more than expected, and returning employment to pre-pandemic levels. President Biden celebrating those figures, saying it shows the strength of the labor market. But he also says inflation is still hurting many Americans.
I know people will hear today's extraordinary jobs report and say they don't see it, they don't feel it in their own lives. I know how hard it is. I know it's hard to feel good about job creation when you already have a job and you're dealing with rising prices, food and gas, and so much more.
The White House taking a victory lap, but not ready to push off concerns of a recession.
After weeks of working to solidify party-wide support, Senate Democrats are on track to vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. Last on board, moderate Democrat Kyrsten Sinema, seen speaking with fellow moderate Joe Manchin on the Senate floor. The president says the bill will help ease financial burdens many Americans now face.
This bill is a game changer for working families in our economy.
The wide-ranging package would mark the nation's largest ever investment in climate change, is expected to help lower healthcare premiums and prescription costs, and would increase taxes on big corporations and the most wealthy.
Several people are hurt, including 2 officers, after an SUV drove through a parade where people were celebrating Native American heritage in New Mexico. Video shows the chaos as parade goers ran to get out of the way of that SUV. The driver is now in custody, and police say that the incident is under investigation. Police say that the McDonald's worker who was shot during an argument over cold French fries has died. It happened Monday in Bed-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. Police say 20-year-old Michael Morgan shot 23-year-old Matthew Webb during an argument outside the fast food restaurant on Fulton Street. The incident is now being investigated as a homicide. In court yesterday, prosecutors indicated upgraded charges against Morgan were expected.
With a turbulent summer travel season in high gear, a warning from the Better Business Bureau about scams disguised as deep discounts or fake cancellation notifications on flights. Experts say thieves are using 2 strategies. Scammers are setting up bogus but convincing websites that lure you in with the promise of a good deal. Then shortly after you book, you get a text or email saying your flight has changed or been canceled or fare has gone up. They ask for your credit card to rebook.
They're trying to get more money out of it. Unfortunately, you just bought that from a scam website or a scam service agency, and there is no flight, there is no ticket, and unfortunately, they took not only your payment, but they have your information.
Another victory for a Donald Trump ally in Arizona.
ABC News is projecting Kari Lake, a one-time television news anchor and staunch supporter of the former president, will win the Republican primary for governor. Trump campaigned in Arizona for Lake, both repeating his false claims that the 2020 presidential election was stolen by the Democrats. This news coming as the Republican National Convention has officially chosen Milwaukee, Wisconsin as the host city for their 2024 Republican National Convention.
This situation, a sailor had to be rescued after surviving 16 hours in an air bubble underneath his capsized boat off the coast of northwestern Spain. Video released by officials shows parts of the rescue. Local media reports say the 62-year-old French sailor's boat capsized Monday evening. Divers were not able to access the boat initially because of rough sea conditions. The sailor was rescued the next day.
Wow. And now to NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Owens. The former wide receiver posted a video of himself being confronted by a neighbor because he was supposedly speeding when Owens went to his mailbox. During the verbal dispute, which was recorded through Instagram, the neighbor called the police. The heated argument, again, all caught on camera, and ABC's TJ Holmes has the story.
He got out of his car and started harassing me. He put his car in park.
Right, because you're going to yell at me and telling me I'm almost hit you, and I didn't.
But you didn't have to get out of your car.
NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Owens wants people to see this video he recorded of a heated exchange between him and his Florida neighbor.
He ran the stop sign.
Well, there is no stop sign. What are you talking about?
Owens, a longtime NFL star receiver with the Niners, Eagles, and Cowboys, was accused by a neighbor of speeding, nearly hitting her, and harassment.
You put your car in park and you came at me.
First of all, I didn't come at you.
Yes, you did.
Owens keeps his camera rolling as their back and forth continues with an officer on scene. And then the woman makes this statement.
Black man approaching a white woman.
Like I said, this could have turned really bad. Like I said, I don't know where it could have gone had the police come in and they basically took her word for something, that she said that I didn't do or what have you. Like I said, we've seen it a number of other times as well.
Owens spoke about the incident and that racially charged statement.
If the roles were reversed, I'd probably be in jail or something to that magnitude right now, honestly. And just the statement that she made, obviously, that came out of her mouth, the comments exactly was a black man approaching a white woman. I think that kind of says what you want to know, about the situation.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Do you have your ID?
I've seen it, yes. I've seen it, but this is firsthand.
Owens is now pushing for the woman to face consequences, retweeting this petition calling for her to face jail time for making a false police report. Owens believes accountability is important here in the wake of other recent high-profile incidents of police being called on black Americans under dubious pretexts for doing mundane things, from walking, napping, sitting at a Starbucks, even bird watching.
I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately.
In that infamous case of the Central Park bird watcher, that woman was charged for filing a false police report. Owens says he's grateful for how police handled his situation.
Honestly, I want to commend the Broward, police, those policemen that came up, because this could have been, this could have gone totally left had they not come in and handled the situation the right way.
And that was TJ Holmes reporting for us tonight. We're also tracking several headlines from around the world. Palestinian officials say Israeli airstrikes have killed at least 10 people, including a 5-year-old girl and a senior militant, with dozens more injured. Israeli officials said that the strikes were launched at Palestinian Islamic Jihad militant group targets in response to a threat. Multiple rockets fired from the Gaza Strip since then have been intercepted. The strikes come amid growing tensions in the region stemming from the arrest of an Islamic Jihad commander in the West Bank earlier this week. And a major volcano in Iceland spewing lava after a series of earthquakes brought it back to life this week. The volcano just south of Reykjavik began erupting Wednesday after a 4.6 earthquake was recorded on the east side of the volcano. This is the same volcano that erupted from March to September of last year. So now this new magma is flowing over the lava field created in those prior eruptions. Icelandic officials said they don't expect flights from the nearby airport to be disrupted this time. And Easter Island has welcomed its first tourists in more than 2 years. The island was closed off because of the pandemic, but on Thursday began to once again accept flights of visitors eager to see those famed statues. Flights are currently limited to Thursdays and Saturdays, and travelers need to have a negative PCR test in the 24 hours prior to their arrival on the island. Turning now to the summer of 2018, where a Thai boys soccer team and their coach were trapped for 18 days in a cave before they were rescued. Well, now their stories are being brought to the silver screen. It's a new film. It's called 13 Lives. It's directed by Ron Howard, and our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, sat down with the filmmakers, actors, and real-life civilians to bring you this extraordinary tale.
This is the moment in the summer of 2018 that grips the world.
How many of you? 13? Yeah, 13. Brilliant. Yeah.
It was the first time we heard from the 12 members of a youth soccer team and their coach as they were hopelessly trapped deep inside a cave in Thailand, setting off what was called a miracle rescue.
The whole world felt like parents of those children.
Now, 4 years later, Academy Award-winning director Ron Howard, who also directed Apollo 13, telling another story about the alchemy of making the impossible possible in 13 lives.
Why was there a need for a sort of semi-fictionalized version of this that you did?
I don't see it as semi-fictionalized. It's scripted narrative, it's a dramatization, because that creates a sort of a pathway to a deeper empathy and understanding that goes beyond the mind and the heart.
At the center of the film are two British cave divers, Richard Stanton, played by Viggo Mortensen, and John Valanthan, played by Colin Farrell. Nerdy types on land, but in a flooded cave, superheroes in scuba tanks.
You try and dive those kids the whole way, all you'll be bringing out is dead bodies.
They were the first to make contact with the 13 trapped inside that cave 10 days after the boys disappeared.
We found the boys. They're alive.
Careful who sees that.
Stanton was a consultant for the film.
Rick, the first time we spoke, right after the rescue.
2018.
Would you ever have imagined that 4 years later you'd be sitting between these two schleps?
These two, no. I mean, clearly that was destined to be a Hollywood film. We had to navigate our way, not just through the cave, but through the labyrinth of Hollywood and business.
What was it like watching yourself being played on
It has to be surreal, right? Doesn't it have to be surreal?
Many people, well, I mean, but what was more fascinating was sort of seeing Viggo sort of slowly assimilate my character over the Zoom calls, and then there's stuff that I didn't realise Viggo had picked up on, like little
what?
nuances. You know, and people point them out. That's so you.
It was that kind of attention to detail that Ron Howard says was key for this project.
Can we go out now? Couldn't get child actors. We needed kids from the north. It's this very specific dialect. And as we began to audition, I said, we're going to have to teach them.
Why was authenticity such an important thing? I mean, not only finding Thai actors, but Thai actors with the right accent.
I just feel like it's a standard that I would expect of a project like this. The details, you know, again, I wanted to get it right, kind of almost on a journalistic level.
Raymond Patanavirangun, who is Thai, worked closely with Howard as a co-producer to get those details right.
There's this presumption sometimes when you make, quote-unquote, a Hollywoodized version of a true story that there's, you know, they're going to speak in English and there's just going to be a lot of inaccuracies. It was important for us to basically make it almost like a documentary.
And it's not just the visual side, it's the sound engineering, the bubbles, the clanking that really hones in the claustrophobia of it.
Because as Rick said, you have to rely on that sense when you're diving because you can see so little.
Let's have a look.
Back in 2018, we were on the ground in Chiang Rai province. The world watched that massive multinational operation to extract those 12 boys and their coach from the belly of a mountain known as the Sleeping Princess.
Many people are coming.
Defying odds and massive monsoon flooding. Rescuers clawed through the flooded passages, the current strong enough to rip goggles off. And it was so murky they often couldn't see their own hands, which would often get cut in squeezes the size of a doggy door.
Some of these passageways are so narrow, you kind of just have to scoot on your butt or crawl to get through. Imagine doing this underwater.
Once they found the soccer team, the rescuers had to decide how to extract them. The kids had little swimming experience, and they'd have to go through miles of treacherous flooded tunnels. Success, rescuers told authorities, would be saving even one or two of the boys. So they decided to sedate each of them, binding their hands and swimming them out like packages. It was so dangerous, not even the parents were informed. But in the end, miraculously, it worked. Joel Edgerton played Richard Harris, also known as Harry, the Australian diver and anesthesiologist who was instrumental in the rescue.
The fact that it worked, if you didn't know that this was a true story, you would almost be laughed out of Hollywood for presenting this as a script. So I think heroes are made in a moment. You can't pull a hero out of a lineup.
A story like this where people put a lot of that aside and get something remarkable done. What they gave us was an object lesson in what is humanly possible through that kind of cooperation and connection and commitment without any guarantees of success.
It's incredible to revisit that story. Matt Gutman, thank you. And finally tonight, it is Friday. Maybe you're in the mood to dance a little bit? Yeah, okay, so this airline worker is kicking off the weekend energy for all of us, keeping passengers smiling and entertained before they take off. ABC's Will Gans has more on this TikTok video gone viral.
Imagine you're sitting in an airplane waiting to take off. You look out the window and see this. You couldn't even be mad if your flight got delayed, right?
Is this why my plane's delayed? And let me address that. It is not. We have nothing to do with that. The ramp has nothing to do with that, America.
Kevonte Tatum is the PTI airport employee bringing it to the runway.
It gets a little boring in here, so every now and then I like to, tip out on the ramp and see what the guys are doing and, put on a little show.
His videos racking up millions of likes, even catching the attention of Beyonce herself, who included him in her very first TikTok.
Dropped my phone. I said, hey, guys, I got to miss these next 2 flights. I got to see what this is about. So I went, immediately called my mom. She died. She loved it.
In fact, when it comes to those moves, Kevonte got it from his mama.
She had a dance team when I was growing up with her and two of her best friends. And I would kind of sneak off on the side and learn their routines. And she called me one day and was like, oh, you about to be dancing, boy.
And in the 25 years that followed, Kevonte's been dancing every style, everywhere.
Future, Renaissance, study my technique.
And now that his dance moves are really taking off.
In a dream world, Beyonce and Blue Ivy are looking at that video, and she tells me that I need to guide the spaceship in on her new music video for Alien Superstar. I mean, gosh.
Please, B, if you're watching this, you heard it here
watching me. Yes.
Oh, that's good. Will Gans, a straight call to Beyonce herself. All right, well, before we go tonight, the image of the day. How's this? For an acrobatic way to cool off in a steamy summer, that is a competitor jumping into the water below during a cliff diving competition in the Czech Republic. I'm into that. I love it. That's our show. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Kana Whitworth, and thank you so much for streaming with us.
America's #1 news, ABC News.